Hello, my name is Owen and welcome to another weekly update. It is the second week of December in 2023. We're almost halfway through the month, which is a scary thought because, well, my goals aren't super ambitious this month. I feel like I'm a little bit more strict this month in terms of completing them because it's the end of the year. I want to wrap up all the loose ends that we got hanging out here, and I did that in a big way this past week by finishing A Court of Wings and Ruin, the third book in the ACOTAR trilogy. So you might have seen that review. If you're interested in that, check that out. I greatly appreciate it. I definitely thought that book was worse than the other ones, just as a warning to you. And I did a little bit of a rant. There were some things that I picked on a little bit. I looked at it with a more critical eye, as you would say. That being said, though, my point still stands on that trilogy. I think it is overhated. I don't think it's an atrociously bad book, and I think I said on that video as well, or maybe I just dreamed that I did. I've talked to more people in real life about that series than any other series ever. That's one of the rare times I've gotten where I'm reading it in public and they go, "Oh, you're reading this book? I've heard of that book, or I read it, or I want to read it." And also I met a lot of people who had read it, and I was able to have a discussion with them in real life, which is something I almost never get to do, which is one of the reasons why I started this channel, is so I can have the opportunity to have a dialogue about books that a lot of people don't read. But that was one that, who'd have thought? Popular books are read by a lot of people. You know what I mean? But I thought that was a very rewarding experience. Not that I would want to read every popular book ever, because I'm sure a lot of them are garbage. And I would never say this series even brushes upon being a great series, but I had fun with it. Even though I had some criticisms, but I think those criticisms also stem from the fact that maybe I had high expectations because I had so much fun in the first two books. Very true. And also in this past week, we made great progress in Malazan, House of Chains, our reread. I'm just trying to get through part 2 this month, setting a very tame goal for myself this month. That being said, I read over 150 pages of Malazan just this past week alone, so I expect we'll probably get a decent chunk into part 3 this month as well. I've been on and off with Malazan in terms of my reread, but I think that break was necessary. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm feeling like I'm engaged in this world again. I'm glad to be back. And I'm also glad that I'm not reading another doorstop fantasy alongside it, because I am in the middle of part 2 of Derek Bailey's short story collection storyline, Umbrage. I'm about 25% of the way done with that. I expect I'll finish that in the next week and a half as well. I am pacing myself, Derek. I know you said to do it. So after every part, I'm putting it down and I'll pick it up the next day. That's what I've been doing. And I've been enjoying that so far. So I expect part 2 of Malazan, that'll be done the next week. And then Umbrage will be finished as well, which will allow me in the next few days to jump head first into East of Eden by John Steinbeck, because that's the only or the last really big thing I want to get out of the way before the end of the year. So I just want to get some of this stuff, the smaller stuff, or like the side projects like the Malazan reread out of the way. That way I could really immerse myself in this classic, because all you guys are raving about it in the comments and whenever I mention it. So you guys are making me even more excited for this book. So I can't wait to get into it. Then other than that, I think that was my only. I think there was another book in there that I said I was going to read last week. I'll have to look at that again. But really, other than that, it's just some maintenance stuff, maybe finishing War of the Roses. But I think we're setting ourselves up for a great second half of the month. I don't think I'm going to be super rushed, especially if I get a lot done this week. And I don't know, something has come over me. I feel like I'm in a great reading groove. I know I switch up how I'm feeling every week in terms of, am I in a slump? Am I in a groove? But I feel like my mindset has been a little bit different, because one thing I've been thinking about a lot, and one thing I want to question you guys about your reading, is what are your strategies to keep it fun? Because I know we talked about in the past how active of a hobby it is, how much concentration it takes. So when you're in a slump, it's just you cannot find. Maybe you're having a rough week at work, you're tired, you're exhausted. The last thing you want to do is like zero in your brain on words on a page, and especially like if it's a denser book like a Malazan or like a classic or something like that. What do you guys do to kind of bring that back? I've been finding that putting in some lighter stuff in there has definitely been beneficial to me, but also I'm starting to avoid reading two things at a time. Not that I won't be reading two books at the same time, like throughout the course of a week, but like a day, I'm only reading one specific book a day. I'm not switching it up in the morning or afternoon. I can't segregate it like that. I gotta focus on one thing a day. I found that's been more beneficial. I think I've been trying to spread myself too thin. Because this is the first time in a while that I'm actually excited to pick up books. Again, I've still been enjoying it. There's never been a case where I've been forcing myself to read, because that just never works in terms of me enjoying it or just me having a productive life. But there's moments now where I get home, I'm tired, but I'm like, but I want to read, and I will read, and I do read. So hopefully I can maintain that momentum throughout the end of the month and bring that in to the new year. Because another thing I've been thinking about, expect the video this week. I don't know why I'm holding an unfurled paperclip, by the way, but my goals for 2024, my reading goals, and also my channel goals as well. I'm not going to do just a long list of books that I want to read. I did that last year. I swear I only read one, and it was the one I was already started. It was the last book in Game of Thrones. The other ones I did not even pick up, or I didn't even finish. But there'll be some list of specific books, but they're ones that I already own, and it's a guarantee that they will be read. And really, other than that, it's just kind of vibes. And this is kind of how I want to approach it. How do I want to maintain the fun of the hobby? Because not to scare y'all, but this box we're in, right? This box you're seeing me through is only reliant on reading as a hobby for me and how much I enjoy it. So if that dies, who knows? Maybe I'll have to be like a cooking vlogger. Wouldn't that be scary? No, odds are I probably just wouldn't make videos anymore. But luckily, I don't think I'm in danger of ever stopping reading. And I'm already not quite like other booktubers who can pump out 100 books, 200, 300 books a year. And I'll dive into that when I do my reading year stats. But like, I feel like I'm reading like a normal person amount of books a year, which hurts me in a lot of ways because I have less to talk about than some other great booktubers. I don't have lists up the wazoo of bestsellers or 2023 releases and stuff like that. I just don't read enough books to do that. And I don't want to push myself to do that either because, quite frankly, I got better things to do. But that being said, this was a great year. This is a great growth for me as a channel this past year. It went from literally making videos at the end of last year and like 10, 15 people would see them and like no engagement and stuff like that to crossing 1,000, crossing 1,100. And I have a group of people, and you know who you are, who I feel like I have a relationship with. We have a little bit of like a community going on. Like I know what you guys are reading, and you guys like comment and stuff I'm reading, and I greatly appreciate that. And as if I want that continue to grow, continue to flourish, keep your guys' interest, I feel like I want to put a little bit more effort into the new year. I want to figure out ways we could keep this engaging, right? Even though maybe I'm not reading the pace, at the reading pace that a lot of your other favorite tubers are. But yeah, it's a lot to think about. That video will be coming out this week, as I said. I'm excited for the new year, though. I think the potential is endless. It's whether or not I find the motivation to capture it. But let me know in the comments. Like I said, like I guess it's kind of like how do you beat reading slumps, but also just like what keeps you having fun, right? And I know it's at the end of the day, it's the specific books you're reading. If you're reading great books, you'll enjoy the hobby as well. But if you're reading all the time, regardless, right? You know, it ebbs and flows. And maybe that's just the answer. Maybe it just ebbs and flows. But I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I don't know how some people do it. I don't know how they're reading. I don't know how they never stop. Like, do they never stop? Or maybe they're stopping and they just like sometimes they just pretend that they read the book. I've gotten accused of that before. I'm not going to tell you what video that is. It's a bad video of mine, and I don't want you to go back and find it. But some people are like, "You definitely didn't read this book, you idiot." I'm like, I did read it. I just didn't like it very much. So, and I got yelled at in that comment section. Can you see the PTSD in my eyes? No, it was actually fun. Didn't bother me in the slightest. Thanks for sticking around. Be sure to like, subscribe, like the video. You want to see more like it in the future? Expect that the year to come, 2024. It's the year of heroes, the year of kings, some would say. And as always, thanks for sticking around.